Hi, this is Johnny Bruce. You are listening to Afterlife Conversations. Imagine the space where spirit speaks, science listens, and the invisible becomes real. In this podcast, we explore the profound connections between our world and the next. I will be your guide on this journey of discovery, healing, and understanding. Each episode, we delve into the stories behind my guided meditations, revealing the messages from those who have crossed over and the wisdom they share with us. Have you ever had one of those moments? You're sitting there, and you just know someone is about to call you. You reach for the phone, and before you even touch it, it lights up. Their name is on the screen. Or maybe you're out for a walk. The wind is rustling the leaves, and you hear your name. You turn around, nobody's there. But the voice was so familiar that you reach out to that person later that day, only for them to tell you, "That's wild. I was just thinking about you." We usually call it coincidence, but what if it's just a frequency we haven't all learned to tune into yet? Today, we're diving into the bridge between the science lab and the corner booth at your local crystal shop. We're talking about telepathy. Now, telepathy isn't a new concept, but the way we're looking at it is changing fast. In the world of modern neuroscience, it has a much more technical name: synthetic telepathy. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's an active field using brain to brain interfaces to transmit information directly between individuals. Just last year, in 2025, we saw massive scientific leaps in this area, specifically using technology to turn thoughts into actual sound. The goal is incredible: giving a voice to individuals with autism who are nonverbal, allowing their inner world to finally be heard. In early 2026, researchers began testing synthetic telepathy specifically for Alzheimer's patients to bridge the communication gap. They used non-invasive helmets that read intent rather than language. Preliminary trials at Johns Hopkins have successfully translated basic emotional intent, like fear, comfort, and love, from nonverbal dementia patients into digital signals for caregivers. This is being labeled as technologically assisted intuition. But while the labs are busy building interfaces, some of us we've been using a different kind of hardware for a long time. For me, this happens every day. I don't need a headset or computer or even a helmet. In my work as a psychic medium, telepathy is the primary language. It's how spirit talks to me through images, sounds, smells, and sometimes just gut feelings. I want to share a story about a reading that really shook me. Let's call my client Helen. I started the session the way I always do, asking Helen to simply respond with yes, no, or maybe, as I describe what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing, all of those things that are coming to me. We want to be sure who is in the room before we start that dialogue. First, it was Helen's grandmother. She was clear. She was present. But she wasn't alone. She had someone else with her. And it was Helen's mother. The message from her mother was simple but piercing. She wanted to thank Helen for sharing her life with her once a week. She wanted Helen to know she hears every word and loves her deeply. At that point, Helen began to break down. These weren't sad tears. They were tears of pure joy. She told me she had been praying her mother could hear her. See, you have to understand that Every Thursday, Helen goes to a memory care unit at an assisted living center. Her mother is still very much alive, but she has Alzheimer's. They haven't been able to have a real conversation in over a year. I had no way of knowing Helen's situation, but there we were, connecting telepathically. I believe Helen's grandmother in spirit acted as a medium to the medium. When I open my window of communication with spirit, I become a beam of light. It's kind of like a bat signal for your loved ones. Since we are all energy, that vibrating beam reaches the other side. And in this case, it allowed a mother's soul to bypass a clouded mind and say, I'm still here. Now let's break this down the way we like to do, looking at the science versus spiritual practice. We're seeing a shift in the cultural zeitgeist too. Back in 2024, a podcast series called The Telepathy Tapes went viral. It spotlighted non-speaking autistic individuals who demonstrated anomalous cognition, the ability to communicate complex information without any sensory input. This led the University of Virginia School of Medicine to publish a landmark paper in late 2025 titled Rethinking Communication and Consciousness. They basically said, look, this might be anecdotal, but there's enough here that we need to reassess the inner world of non-auditory individuals. A major meta-analysis published in the Journal of Anomalous Experience and Cognition, and this was in May of 2025, they reviewed 26 experiments conducted between 2003 and 2024 regarding telecommunication telepathy. This is the knowing who's calling or texting before you actually look at the phone. The study found hit rates were highly significant, meaning they were far above what chance would predict. The success rate was significantly higher when the sender and receiver shared an emotional bond, suggesting that emotional resonance acts as a carrier wave for intuitive information. In Helen's case, she and her mother shared an emotional bond. I highly encouraged Helen to hone and practice her own telepathic abilities. Just think, how wonderful would it be if she and her mother could allow their emotional resonance to bridge the words they would like to share? While science approaches telepathy through the lens of brain waves and data transmission, spirituality views it as a natural byproduct of our foundational interconnectedness. This is fundamental. And in most spiritual frameworks, telepathy isn't a superpower, but a return to a baseline state of being. In New Thought philosophy, there is one universal consciousness, only one mind, and that our individual brains act like radio receivers. So if you think about it, telepathy in this view is simply two radios tuning in to the same frequency at once. A research study bridges science and spirituality. This took place only last year in 2025. The study, titled Entangled Consciousness in Dementia Care, explored the physiological synchronization between long-term spouses when one partner has Alzheimer's. Using mobile EEG units, researchers found that even when the patient could no longer recognize their spouse's face, their heart rate variability and alpha wave patterns would synchronize when the spouse entered the room or, or even thought intensely about a shared memory. This suggests that a telepathic-like bond persists at a physiological level long after the cognitive ability to communicate is gone. Many practitioners in my world, they believe the heart is actually a stronger transmitter than the brain. It's not head to head, it's heart to heart. In the spiritual world, we often talk about entrainment, where two people's energetic frequencies match perfectly. When I do a reading, I open my heart to emulate the personality of the deceased. Sometimes those emotions are so raw and real, they can be overwhelming. My apologies for the brief interruption. I'd like to thank you for listening. And if you've made it this far, chances are you're enjoying what you're hearing. And if that's the case, we have a quick favor to ask. The single best way you can support the show is by hitting that subscribe or follow button right now, wherever you listen. Subscribing is totally free, and it means you'll never miss a moment of Afterlife Conversations we share. So, go ahead, tap subscribe. Thanks again for listening. So, let's experience a guided visual meditation to open yourself up to the frequency of the universe. We're going to give you an opportunity to practice some telepathic powers. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position. Allow your eyes to gently close. We are going to begin by centering our body so that the mind can become a clear receiver. So we'll begin by inhaling slowly, and we'll do this for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath. 2, 3, 4. Now exhale slowly through the lips. 2, 3, 4. And hold the lungs empty. 2, 3, 4. All right, let's do that once more. To the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath. 2, 3, 4. Now exhale slowly through the lips. 2, 3, 4. And hold the lungs empty. 2, 3, 4. You should begin to feel your physical weight sinking into the earth. You are grounded. You are safe. You are a steady, clear antenna. Imagine your mind is a vast, quiet theater. Usually this theater is busy and loud. See yourself walking into the back of the room, to the projection booth. Reach out and turn the projector off. The screen goes dark. The room goes silent. You are now in your neutral space. If a thought or a worry flies in, see it like a small bird passing through. Let it fly out the window. Do not follow it. Return to the stillness of the dark screen. In the center of your forehead, visualize a small indigo light. This is your center of vision. Now, visualize a second light in the center of your chest, a warm golden glow. This is your heart center, your center of empathy. See a thin golden thread connect the indigo light to the golden heart light. You are now aligned. Your logic and your feelings are working as one. Bring to mind the person you wish to connect with. Do not try to force a message or a word. Simply see them sitting in their own quiet theater. This is somewhere across the distance. Maybe it's next door, down the street, across town, or even in another city. Visualize a bridge of iridescent, shimmering light extending from your heart to theirs. This bridge doesn't carry words, it carries frequency. Now, over this bridge, send a single pulse of warmth across that bridge. Don't use language. Just send the feeling. This may be the feeling of a smile, of a laugh, of a joyous moment. Watch that pulse travel across the light until it reaches the other person. Now, in this moment, it's important to be still. Stop sending. Stay on your side of the bridge and simply observe. Observe and wait for a color, a sudden image, or a physical sensation to float back across that bridge towards you. It might be a word, or it might just be a knowing. Don't judge what comes to you, and don't try to analyze it. Just witness it for what it is. But looking back at your bridge, see the iridescent bridge begin to fade into a soft mist. It dissipates and begins to fade away. There's no need to worry. The connection is recorded in your subconscious. It will always be there. Now begin to bring your consciousness back to your room. Feel the weight of your hands in your lap. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your seat beneath you. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes and take one deep, clearing breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes. When you have a moment alone, I would like for you to do the meditation again. Go into a safe place and follow the meditation and discover what it is that you see coming across the bridge. And when you have finished, take a moment and reflect on what you experienced. I know just like this time, that time will be profound for you. And there's one other thing that I'd really like for you to do. I'd like for you to keep a connection journal next to you. You're going to write immediately down the first three things that you felt or saw. You can do that this time, but it's not necessary. Do it for next time and the time after. Have that connection journal next to you. And no matter how nonsensical those images seem to be for you, continue to write and capture what you felt and what you saw. In a 2025 study, the accuracy was highest when participants recorded their first flash, impressions before the logical brain had time to edit them. So that's what you'll be doing in your connection journal, is that you will be capturing that first flash. What was the first thing that came to you, and capture that. In addition, here are some questions to think about after you complete the meditation. And these are things that you can write in your journal. So without thinking about it, you will consider, what was the very first image, word, or color that appeared in your theater during the silence? Did the information feel like a thought you produced, or did it feel like it dropped in or flashed across the screen? Did you feel any physical sensations, anything specific during the connection? For example, did you feel a tingling, a warmth, a change in pressure maybe, or a sudden shiver? What was the emotional flavor of the connection? Was it neutral? Did you feel urgent? Was it joyful? Or perhaps there was just a specific mood that isn't your own right now. When you sent the pulse of warmth, did the bridge feel open? Or did you encounter any static or resistance? These are all things to consider as you record in your current connection journal. It's important that you just recognize what comes to you first. What did you feel? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you know? So next time you think of someone and the phone rings, don't just call it a coincidence. Tune in. The frequency is already there. So just like the flash in your meditation, be aware of other flashes that come to you during the day. Listen to the voices that come to you. Listen. It may be someone trying to connect. And remember, in Afterlife Conversations, I always say that that voice in your head may not always be your own.